Sri. Great to see you. How are you doing?
Doing great, Pete. Good morning. Thank you.
Good
How are
morning. Good
you?
morning. I'm very well, thank you. Very well. So, just for the benefit of everyone that's watching, maybe we could start with some introductions about yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Sri, CEO of Optimism, an AI product development company leveraging AI to address some real-world challenges that we face today.
Wonderful. And for those that don't know me, I'm Pete. I'm the CEO of Replicate. We work very closely with Optimism, and we equally, we use AI to solve business challenges. We also combine neuroscience and some psychology. So, Sri, we're going to talk today about the HR space, and I think it's fair to say that things have changed somewhat. I don't want to talk about the big bad C word of COVID, but it did really change the way that the whole industry is operating. What have you seen from your perspective?
Yeah, very much true there. I think the COVID really caught us by surprise, and most of the industries were unprepared to handle such a situation. And hiring and recruitment industry was no different. It completely transformed the way we had to address some of the challenges. But on the positive, you can see a lot of new adoption of technologies, how a lot of the recruitment space today adopts AI or advanced technologies to be able to meet today's job demands.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that shift into AI, it feels like every company has now released an AI product or they have an AI version. But when I look at some of the ATS platforms that I've used and maybe that you've used, I think there's a bit of a myth versus reality when it comes to AI on the platforms. Like, what have you seen?
Yeah, you're right. AI is excessively used today in a lot of products that we see around. However, in the space of recruitment, what I personally feel is that they're more of just as an extension of the traditional applicant tracking systems that were in place earlier. If you see most of the AI solutions today, they primarily look to automate a screening process that is somewhere more relying on algorithms to match the job skills with versus what the demands of a particular job are. But at most they are able to speed up the screening process much more than what the earlier applicant tracking system would do. But I think the real challenge that the industry faces today is to be able to make the right hiring decision. While all these applicant tracking systems or any solution that focuses on screening the candidates, they possibly help to structure your hiring process, but not necessarily help you get your hiring right, and which is a major challenge that most organizations today are looking to address.
Well, I mean, I see it a lot on LinkedIn, right? So you go on, you can apply for a role, you read the job spec, you upload it into ChatGPT, it creates a cover letter for you. It's become incredibly easy to game that system, and you just have to hit a bunch of keywords, right? So we're not, from a recruiting and from an employer perspective, we're really not leveraging the full possibility of AI, are we?
You're spot on there. I think it has added more complexities and challenges to the industry. Either most job applicants, the profile, if you look at the profiles, they tend to add in the right key skill words that possibly the job role demands, and it gets all the whether when you use today's tools like ChatGPT or to optimize your CV or a resume, it becomes very difficult from an organization standpoint to be built. What sort of metrics do you want to have to screen these candidates? So I think one of the key challenges, or what each and every organization looks to have, is to have a much faster hiring process. They would like to reduce their time to hire, and not and in the same process try to get a good quality of hire. And the challenge when you have quite a few profiles that are more optimized with AI, which potentially look good for a role, it makes it much more difficult for the talent acquisition team to really, how do you filter or screen these profiles?
Yeah, so you've got, let's say keyword matching is step one, but what are the other solutions or tools that AI could add in that would really add value? Because like you said, it's about speed, but it's also about quality, isn't it? That cost of a lost hire or of a poor hire. It just feels like that cost gets more expensive every year, doesn't it?
It gets quite expensive, and sometimes it's not until 3 months to 6 months that the organization really begins to get the right perspective of the quality of the hire that they have made. And traditionally, if you see, look, the volume of applications that you need to screen today to be able to make or to shortlist some of the candidates you would like to interview at least, makes things much more complex today. And I think that's where AI can play a role, where it can possibly add a layer of assessments, skill-based assessments to validate what is the information, all the skills on the experience that are portrayed in the CV over there, and versus what is the true capability of a particular candidate. And if you see there's been a recent study by Harvard Business Review where the study showed that nearing 80% of the candidates tend to project themselves much in higher skills than they actually are found to have to possess over there. So it gets really difficult as you get more and more applications, each potentially looking good. But I think that one of the ways is, I think we've seen psychometric assessments play a big role. In a way, you are able to get a complete 360-degree profiling, or you call it a holistic view of a profile of a candidate. And that really gives you much more deeper insights into what are the key capabilities or the right fit of a particular candidate to a particular job role, and also maybe even to your organization culture over there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because I mean, the great thing about AI is it doesn't have that human bias. Now, we know that there's an argument about there is bias in AI, which I understand, but from a purely candidate perspective, it doesn't care about the person's color or creed. It just wants someone that can do what is the proposed job, right? So there's a first layer which is purely around bias and making sure that you're getting the right person for the right job. And then when you add in the psychometrics, it sounds like there's an added layer where you can get to more of the person's personality. Because I know, every job I applied for, I was the best man for the job, even when I wasn't. I thought I was, because we have our own personal biases. But how would psychometrics kind of support the employer and the hiring team in that front?
Today, psychometric assessments, and I've seen that they've evolved much more in being able to possibly help us understand what are the key personality traits of a job applicant, let's say. And what this empowers the talent acquisition team is to look into how would these personality traits meet demands of a particular job role, let's say. And more importantly, would they fit into their own organizational culture? And that's when you really can know what are the best fit candidates you would like to interview them. And there are two. I mean, you can see traditionally the psychometric assessments have been in place. Most of them, however, have been the questionnaire based that were quite time consuming. But when you look at the AI adoption towards the video psychometric assessments today, one of the advantages that you can easily get more insights into non-verbal or skills, communication skills and body, presentation skills. How would you fit for a particular role and so on? So I think it gives a lot more insights into a particular job applicant profile, thereby making it much easier for the talent acquisition team to make some informed decisions there.
Yeah, because I know, I mean, I love psychometric tests. I think I've got like an interest in myself, which I know a lot of people have. And I've done, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. But if I was to take a video psychometric where AI is being deployed, how long would that take for me, the candidate? And how long would it take for the employer to get the results?
Oh, today they are much more advanced. I think we have seen assessments as short as 5 to 10 minutes time on a max.
Wow.
And the employer gets a good, you can easily get a report, some sort of a report of a profile of a candidate, and which could be evaluated further. And most importantly, having all of these insights even before you invest a time with the candidate that's the real metric for them to be able to shorten their interview process there. Some of the challenges most hiring platforms do not seem to address is what is the candidate experience. There are, you put them through multiple rounds of assessments, and sometimes yet not sure about whether you've made the right hiring decision. And that's
Mm.
where I can assist a lot.
Got you. So that, I mean, it's amazing the speed that these assessments can deliver. And I suppose more than just answering questions, which, when you do a few psychometric tests, you start to see the themes and you can maybe game it a little bit. But with AI, it sounds like it's listening to responses, body language, tone of voice, eye tracking. It's doing way more than just answering questions, isn't it?
True, Pete. I think like today, AI is way evolved to be able to capture a lot of our facial expressions. The voice to text models or text to voice models that play in there, and that can actually give you a much better insights into how what is going through the candidate's frame of mind at that particular moment. Or
Mm.
in fact, it gives you some of the you can it also gives you a flexibility to frame questions in a way that can extract what the responses can give us insights into what sort of body of work would the candidate would have been engaged in his last work engagement, let's say. So they're very insightful for any organization when they decide to interview a particular candidate.
Got you. So if I go back a step, you mentioned that it's possible for, there's a lot of time consumed for the hiring manager or even the business manager, the sales or the lead that has to take time on the interviewing process. By combining maybe AI and psychometrics, you could have CV analysis, you could have skills-based tests, you could have a psychometric test. Could all of those things be done before they, eat into the time of the recruiting manager?
True, I think that's the power of AI today. That can help you to automate a lot of the process, screen much faster, offer more insights even before you decide to interview a particular candidate. And there are a lot of advancements to the scale that a lot of companies are investing their into R&D in trying to design, develop bots to do the initial mock or first rounds of initial preliminary screening of a candidate.
Mm.
uh, so that one of the big advantages that it allows you to look beyond what information that they have provided in their CV. So, and today bots, interview bots have scaled to level that you could even customize what is the complexity of the interview that you would
Mm.
want. So I think they are enormous amount, great amount of advancements in AI and how each industry is adopting. And I think we have a lot more new changes to come by in the coming days in the
Yeah,
HR
I
space.
agree. I agree, and I think people at the moment there's still a little bit of resistance because of the past experience of say bots, but without a doubt that's going to change rapidly. Like when you're speaking to a GPT powered bot that looks and sounds just like a person and also responds accurately, quickly, and to the conversation you're having, that just becomes integrated into a business, doesn't it? It's just part. It's almost like the bot is your team member.
True, true, true. I think that's the power these generative AI models have given us today now. All the large language models. So we are definitely here to see a lot of a great paradigm shift the way AI is going to be leveraged into with the hiring industry, like any other industry, and it's exciting time going forward.
It sounds like yourself and everyone at Aptogrim are seeing this as a big positive. There's not as much fear in your voice as I hear with some people. You see all the positives of AI and the benefits.
Yeah, we like to see the positive side of it. I think one of the positives would be is that you are able to hire the right team and focus on the right development sides or growth of any organization. That is critical for any company. Hiring plays a critical role in any organization company's success. We are as good as the team that we have. So
Hmm.
I think every organization, big, small, startups to a mid-level to a large enterprises, they would like to have a consistent, steady growth in and not much disruptions in the team that they have built upon. And I can't think of how critical it is for product development companies to have uh, a stable, consistent team and I think eventually that's what AI and these advancements are going to help companies, is to make better informed hiring decisions than traditionally you were just leveraging on ATS applications, which more or less use or help you to structure your hiring process, but not necessarily help you to get the right hire.
I agree. Well, look, I think that's a perfect place for us to take a pause. We were kind of at the 15-minute mark now. So just gives me time to thank you. That was super informative. Really enjoyed the conversation. And I hope we can do this again at some stage.
Thank you, Pete, for having me, and thank you for your time today. Thank you all.
Brilliant. Thanks, everybody.